So thank you everybody for being here today. It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to share with you some of our important subjects in BPW International, as it is our roots. And thank you, Anne, for being in charge of this and the technology. I have to say that after I finish my presidency, I have this concern to have a place that we can train our members in exclusively in BPW subjects. And to start, we decide, Anne and I, to talk a little bit about our roots. Of course, that in 20 minutes, that will be the time of my presentation. It is not possible to talk about everything, but how this organization started, why we are here, which it was the feeling of the women at that time, and something about our founder. And this is very important. And at the end, I would like to make you to be a little bit curious about our history and try to get more information, even that we will have another second part of this BPW history. I will share with you my, you disable the participate sharing screen. And no, it's what they say here. I cannot hear you. You are on.
I say keep talking while I check it.
Okay. So I'm very glad that our executive secretary, Bessie Hieronymus, is here. She is a member of BPW International since more than 40 years ago. She knows a lot of the history of this organization. She is also passionate about the history, because we have to understand that if we don't know what happened in the past and why this organization was built, then sometimes we just getting lost of what we want, why we are here, and what we want for the future. And to learn also how these ladies have to deal with a lot of troubles in that years, in 1917, when the work of Lena started on this. It is possible? No.
I can't find it. I'm still looking.
Okay. Okay. So for me, that during many years, it was my passion to know what it was, the feeling and the goals, and why it was decided to start this kind of organization. One of the meaning of Lena, when she started to work for YMCA, she was not a BPW. It was not this organization. She started as a secretary, as a paid staff in YMCA, in one of the departments of this organization, that they had the desire to unify all the women organizations around the country in USA. And that is why it was offered to her to start working on this area. And at that time, she was just recently graduated from the law school. And it was a little bit of confusion for her to decide what to do. First of all, she feels like she needs to be close to her father. She was very close emotionally, but she wants to be close to him. And then the salary that it was offered to her, it was less than the one she was earned in her position as a lawyer in her city, a little town. And but at the end, she decided to take this opportunity and to move to New York. So then she started to work in more than 40 cities in United States, and trying to put together all the organizations in order to have the first national convention, which it was in 1990. It is not possible?
It should be possible now. Click on share.
Yep. Okay. So, as you know, the mission statement of BPW International is the one that you see on the screen, for the ones who are on the screen. And this, it was, we use a lot for in seconds, say to the people what means BPW International. One of my main concerns, and for many in BPW International, is that it is frustrating that after so many years, still have no well-known around the world this organization. So we need to have this short definition or mission statement in our minds in order that immediately we can answer everybody that asks us what means BPW International. This, it was the conviction that made Elena Madison to start her work with women issues. I have to say that she was not engaged with the women issues. She started to be in the first convention that the YMCA invited her to attend. In the first days of the convention, she asked herself, what am I doing here? She was like, she don't know what is going on. All these ladies with a lot of workshops and conferences and discussions. But at the end, she just get passionate about women issues. And that is why she decided to start this work with YMCA. So this is the first words that she wrote as her conviction to start working in women issues. It was 1917, and we need to put ourselves in that year. It was the year that the United States entered to the World War. And as I said, Elena was invited to the conference of World Work Council of the YWCA in Manhattan, which it was part of YMCA. Then she became a staff secretary, only in charge to work with business and professional women all around USA. As I said already about the salary, but she was always keeping in mind that to put the service ahead of financial gain. And this, it was always what she did until she died. So what she said, I don't have any idea how to organize women. So the only experience that she had, it was in her work with the Methodist Church. So she used the same work plan. So she started to travel across the country they make a reference that more than 9,000 miles in 4 weeks. And then after all this journey, she was so confident that can be possible to do this dream or this goal to have only one women organization in USA. So after this work, she became the director of Women Division of the Eastern Department of the United Work Campaign, especially in a fundraising operation. You know, again, without money, we have no organizations at all. So then it was called this Business Women Conference in May 2018, sorry. And after that, she wrote that this organization must work in protecting and promoting the women worker, equal pay for equal work. As you can see, since that time, 1918, we are talking about equal pay. We have many accomplishments, thanks also to BPW International, because the campaign of equal pay was to start in United States, but many years after of this statement was wrote by Lena. Promotion of business opportunities and business advancements, development of training and efficiency. The first national president of the National Federation of Business and Professional Women Clubs in USA. It was a lawyer, Gail, and it was elected in the first convention or first, sorry, in St. Louis, Missouri, 1919. That is why this year, BPW USA is celebrating the 100 years of the foundation of BPW. Lena became the president of USA. Years later, it was the 5th president of USA. First, as I said, in 1917, she works as secretary. In 1920, she was asked to be the executive secretary. And then in 1926 to 1929, she was the BPW USA president. And with all this knowledge from both organizations, she decided to start the International Federation of Business and Professional Women. And she was the president since 1930 to 1947. A lot of years. I feel sorry for her because being the president of this organization and the leading the beginning of to organize everything, I can imagine that it was a huge work to do, and only her love and passion for this organization can make it. Why so many years? You have to understand that it was in the middle, the Second War. And for some years, it was not a an international Congress. And it was decided that the same board continue until they can make it in another conferences. And of course, everybody, as happened now with many clubs, that they cannot change the president, but because no one wants to be the next president. But the main reason it was the Second War in the middle of this. And this is another achievement because maintain the organization in a war times has to be very, very hard work for all of them, for Lena and for all the members that were engaged to work in women issues. So now we are in heaven because we don't need to work and fight for women's rights in the middle of a war. This is the speech that Lena did during the first Congress in Geneva. And I put a mark, how you say it, in bold. What is what she, inside her, it was always her feeling that no matter what happened, if our motive is right, if we have faith, vision, and courage, accomplishments must come. And that is true, completely. We have to keep our minds away of the negative thoughts, negative people. She mentioned in 1930 the comments about what are you accomplishing, but also what do I get out of it, being a BPW member. I think that we heard that several times. Why I have to be in an international organization, what you will give it to me, what the organization will bring to me, but this is not the right member. This is not a member that we want. And when we start a club, we have to be very selective in how we chose which of them deserve to be a BPW member. If you start to complain about the 20 euros for the international, then they are not business, they are not professional women. So say goodbye. There is another organizations that you can join maybe for free. When we compare the fees of BPW with the fees of Rotary, for example, it's a huge amount that what they pay, and they never complain. But anyway, but this is what Lena said. And I have this very, very clear in my mind every time that I see a problem or I feel disappointed or discouraged. This is what we have to keep in mind. So what she said is that as we are human beings, there is a lot of characteristics in our members, and we have to learn how to deal with many, not only personalities also, and is an expert of it in different regions, religions, how you say, customs that they have. So we need to have this way to, skills to manage all kind of members in an international organization. And this is really not easy to do it. So she said the federation must now and than ever justify its existence. We cannot go backward step, and we need to advance consistently. And the question is now in 2019, what we can do. So the answer of her is that we need members with strength and from deep and intelligent experience. We have a lot of members with experience around the world. We need these members to train us and to mentoring us in BPW issues. We are already leaders. We are here, we are part of this organization. If we want to learn how to be a leader, you can do it in YouTube, in your own home. You don't need to go outside. What we need is to train our members in BPW issues, so we can grow up and we can have a better future. And that is why we create this webinar series. So at the end of, I will back a little bit about Lena, but at the end, what she said is very important, that also we keep in mind, that never forget that you are engaged in a very real and very constructive piece of work, something for which no money can pay. This is, again, this is a personal issue. This is something that we have are willing to do for others, that maybe we are in a very comfortable place, that we have no problems in our work, in our country. Let the others to deal with. But we need to have this engagement with these causes about women's rights, about women issues, no matter what. So this is the meaning of our founders, not only Lena, but all around the world who support this movement since the beginning, since 1917. So, but for her, as she was a great believer, so she believed that we are part of God's plans of making this world in a better place for men and women to be free. And one of the things that, a part that you can see here, when she died, she finished her presidency in 1947, but she died in 1955. What she was doing when she died, she was in a cruise to Lebanon to start the movement with the Middle East women. After a long review, almost for a year, with another members, the foundation, Ford Foundation gave it to BPW International resource to make a work for the Middle East. It was something that Lena always said, that we need to empower women in the Middle East. But she died before she arrived to Lebanon, which means that after her presidency, she didn't went to her house to rest or travel, or she's still engaged with BPW International. It was one time only that she was a little bit discouraged. In between 1920 and 1926, she resigned. I think in 1922, she resigned as executive secretary and back to her law as a lawyer. One of the members invited her to be part of her firm in New Jersey, and she stayed there, but she accepted to be the national chair of membership, again attached to the members. So she's still attached to BPW International, no matter that she finished her presidency. And as she said, the soul and the body of this organization are the members. And we need to keep that in mind in our local club. And said that she is only the executive secretary of her club. But this job at the local club means a lot. And I'm sure that you can make a difference in your local club, doing your work with passion and properly, and keeping in mind that the most important of this organization are the members of your club. So this is the first part of our presentation about our roots. I want to show you, I think it was the 20 minutes, yes? And yeah. So we have in BPW International some books that unfortunately I think that there is no more to sell. That it was the history of BPW International. It was volume 1, and then it was it was from 1930 to 1968, and this is the second one that it was made thanks to Sylvia Perry, and this is for the volume 2 is from 1968 to 1995. And we are looking for encourage members to write the 1995 till today. So I hope that we can make it. And we also have, if you are interested in know a little more about Lena, this book. This book, it was published many years ago. We have no more hard copies, but thanks to Anne Hilty, Dr. Anne Hilty, she contacted the publisher and he agreed to make it in ebook that you can easily buy for $10 in Google or in Amazon. Now in Google, I think it's $19.99. In Amazon is $10 something, but you will have a beautiful book that is not only to read the like a novel that you can keep always in your hands and have the guide that you need to solve many conflicts, because you will find out that the same problems, the same walls, it was for Lena in that time that we can face today. So this is something that I would like you to someday, to maybe your holidays, to download to your computer or iPhone or mobile and read it, because I've been in BPW since 1978, 41 years ago, and I always have this book with me, which is, well, this is not the first one, because forget it, horrible. But this is a very good piece to you to have it as a BPW member. So now, Anne, can we proceed with the questions or remarks? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Yasmin. Thank you. And I would ask that you turn off your presentation now, if you will. Yeah. We can better engage then. I'm going to unmute everybody else. You could do that yourself, but in a stroke, we are all unmuted, so everyone is free to speak. If you don't have your video on, feel free to turn it on. That's up to you. And we'll welcome also to Bessie, who is the current executive secretary, which was a position that Yasmin had before she became international president. So Bessie also is a very long-time member and can well contribute to our conversation, I'm sure. And I will get us started by asking you, Yasmin, and also Bessie, if you'll chime in, to talk to us a little bit about some of the major events in BPW between the beginning and today, maybe some of the most important milestones during that time.
Well, as I said in the morning for me webinar, Bessie knows a lot of the history of BPW International, and in 1947, BPW International became part of the UN as ECOSOC, one of the few organizations that was accepted, because it was a lot of organizations trying to get this ECOSOC. But Bessie can tell you that BPW International support the foundation of UN. Bessie?
Yes. Well, we work, one of our biggest accomplishments, I would say, is being part of consultative situation with the United Nations. We have permanent representatives in New York, Geneva, Africa, Vienna, don't remember what else, but we are in Paris, yes, and we represent all the interests of women directly with the United Nations agencies. We also work with the Organization of American States and with any other NGO that shares our interests. We have representation in over, I believe it is 115 countries this time, since we have been accepted several others. And we have 5 regions to make it easier to administer, and it is easier so that we have each region has its regional coordinator that serves on the executive committee, so that we can make it easier to communicate directly with the members. This is a grassroots organization, and the members have a lot to say, and we have several initiatives to serve not only our members, but all the women, the working women in the world.
Bessie, one day you told me about, before UN moved to New York, BPW support the UN movement. Could you please explain a little bit more about it?
I don't know that much about it. It used to be in San Francisco, then it moved to New York, but I believe that BPW is the one that started working with all the women's issues with them, as the organizing NGO, which now we have, I would say, an estimate of like 420 or something like that, that work with us. And we have annual meetings with all the NGO in New York. This year we had 9,200 delegates. Besides all the other participant members, the certified delegates were 9,200 in New York for several days, 2 weeks of meetings and side events in New York, yes.
So this is something that Lena probably couldn't have envisioned, because the UN didn't come out until many years after she initiated the international BPW.
Well, it was in the last Congress of her as international president.
Right. So what I mean is, in the beginning, nobody in the world knew the UN was coming.
No.
So
We are
a big part of what we do.
Yeah, we are not an agency of the United Nations, but we do follow all their women issues. Someday the UN will follow our issues, I would say, but we share the same. We share the same. It's just we do have a lot of emphasis in whatever their concerns are around the world. There's so much inequities that we are trying to fight. Different regions, different countries have different problems, but we are trying to bring equity, gender equity around the world.
I think that it will be, we already have for next month, the webinar about UN, BPW in UN. That I don't know which month, but we will inform all of you. And there is every month we will, and of course, Bessie, we will invite you to be to do a webinar about governance, which is very important, and you are an expert.
Thank you. Yeah.
We can see that if we don't follow the rules, this organization will disappear. We really need to be very aware that the governance of an organization, the policies, are very important, and we all need to follow it, from the local up to
Yeah,
the
we do have to follow our protocol, and we have to make sure that all our activities and our protocols and recognition are uniform throughout the world, so that we get easy recognition like all the other larger organizations that are, you know, well known. And I mean like all the corporations, for example, if you see the AT&T logo, you know which it is, and if you see the McDonald's arches, you know what it is. So we also want our logo to be recognized, to have immediate recognition, so that all women can join us. Because only a few of us are members and pay the dues and work for BPW, but we work for the benefit of all women in the world.
Yep.
So
So we have a lot of work to do. I was telling the members this morning that USA had more than 200,000 members.
At one point, yes.
Yes.
Amazing.
So amazing. So why now? Why we cannot achieve that? And by the way, and I think that the BPW USA, this federation that it was at that time, it was during. I told you that it was during the presidency of Dr. Yvette Swan, that it was in 1989 to 1993.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Bessie, I think that you have the year that USA left BPW International.
Another milestone.
Yeah, well, I was president of California in 1990, and just in California, I had over 10,000 members. And
what we have now around the world, yes, double that we have.
But yeah, that was my presidency, and I was there during the time that BPW decided to become a foundation rather than a member organization. So what we did was we restarted a new federation in the U.S. I don't know where Anna and Olivia are from. Where are you from?
No, Hong Kong.
I'm from Hong Kong Club, yes. I'm the
Okay.
Chair of Finance for Hong
Oh,
Kong.
good. Nice meeting you. And
Nice
Anna?
to meet you too.
I'm from New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand. Okay, a very active federation that we have down there. Yes.
Yes.
Well, the USA, it was a little difficult to restart something because it's easier to start something new than to reconstruct something. So I'm the founding president of the new USA Federation. It took me a while. And right now we have about, we're represented in about, I would say maybe 20 states. We're growing slowly. It takes a while, you know, good things take a while. And we hope to go back to our old glory as long as, you know, we keep on going. It's a hard work, but we will go back, I'm sure of it. I'm convinced of it. There's nothing to lose, you know, for women. There's so much to be done. And once women realize that they need us, they will join us, I'm sure.
And we can do it because now we have more resource than in the past. During these years, it was a lot of achievements made by BPW members. Unfortunately, many of this work is not shared. It was not shared. So we really need to know what the members are doing. And to make this organization visible. And it was part of my goals during my presidency. That is why we made this scarf and the new pins and marketing. We are a product, sorry to say. So we need to promote our Coca-Cola or in a better way. So we can engage more women to our organization. Because really, we now have a lot more to offer than in those years where only one federation had more than 200,000 members. I think that we can make it. I know that New Zealand also had in the past more members. Australia have more than 10 times members. So we need to find a way to restart this organization based on what we can learn from the past, have the value, feel the value of this organization, and motivate more members, more women to become members, and keep our members working together, trying to keep them, because they said, oh, well, we started the club and it was only 20, but then it was 15 and then 10, and it was in our constitution that to start a club we need 20, but now we have to reduce to 10. And why? Now women have more freedom, more resource, more courage to do things for others. Why is happening this?
I think, Yasmin, sorry to interrupt you, but I think what we really need, and I have seen a lack of it, but I'm doing this in California, what we need is a lot of training for our members, because we can, opening clubs is easy. You can just attract people, open, and then what do? They have to have something, some issue to work with. They have to have some programs and activities, but most of all, our leaders have to know their jobs and how to do it, the protocol, the parliamentary procedures, how to attract more members, recruitment tools. I have written a book that is how to start a club in 7 or 8, I think, easy steps. And now I have another one that I'm finishing, which is on recruitment. And I'm working on California right now. I'm a membership. Besides being international, in California, I'm the membership chair, so that's what I'm doing. I'm promoting, because if our members don't know their duties, the club dwindles. You know, they have to keep them active. If not, what do? You go to a meeting for what? Just waste your time. You have to have some product to offer your members.
In another hand, what I said this morning is that retain members is also hard work to do. So we have to act in a very diplomatic way, behave in a professional way in our meetings, in our sessions. We have to be kind and show some concern about our members. I said, for example, if from the today meeting, 2 members didn't attend, the president or the vice president or whoever need to call her and said, hi, we missed you yesterday. What happened with you? Is everything okay with you? Can I do something? Can I help you? Or whatever, you know? And show our concern about why she didn't attend. And we can say, you know, what we did yesterday, it was this and this and this, and we make a new date for the next meeting on this day. We really hope that you can join us and take care and be in touch and whatever, yeah? So this means a lot for this member. She will feel like part of this organization. But if she didn't attend 1, 2, 3, and no one called her, she will never back to this club. Never. So and it's a little action of kindness that the president usually should be doing.
Okay, I want to jump in here and bring us back to our topic. These are all good things, but we're in a big circle now.
We're diverting.
There are so many things to discuss, but let's get back to back to our topic of history. So the UN was a very big milestone that wasn't really anticipated, yet it's become a major part of our work. Mm-hmm. Not the major, but a major part of our work. And you mentioned the unfortunate collapse of the relationship with US and renewal, which meant a lot fewer members. So that was kind of a crisis along the way. And US was one of the original founding members, of course.
Yes.
So I'm wondering between you and Bessie, Yasmin, if there are any other milestones or crises for someone who kind of is looking for, as you already have, the two of you, because you've been members for so long, but someone who's looking to know more fully the full picture of BPW. So any other major milestones or crises, which is a kind of negative milestone along the way?
The crisis, it was to make this organization keep going during the Second War. This is huge work, and not only maintain the organization, increase the membership during these difficult times. So it was a huge thing. And the other thing, it was not only UN engagement, it was only ILO, it was also the World Bank, that we were working for years with them, and the recognition for in each country of, I think that this is a big issue to mention, because it is not only what we are doing around the world in the UN agencies, it's also the recognition that our members get in their own countries, in their own local clubs and regions. So this is something that we need to recognize as a very hard work. For us, the work in BPW every year, if you read this book, then you can realize that every year it was resolutions, it was a federation that going back. You can see at the beginning China with then disappear. So you can read that it was 16 or 17 countries attending the Geneva First Conference. But what happened? Only 6 became the founders federations. Why the rest didn't sign to be part of it? Later, they became BPW international members. So these little pieces of work from each member is the big milestone in BPW for me, in the general perspective. It was not only one president, it was not only in one period. Yes, the main topic for many are UN. Actually, there are some federations that are not agree to work in the way as a UN agency, because sometimes they feel like, why we have to report to the UN? What we receive from the UN? Nothing. So why we have to work around the UN? And we have to push more in UN because really, for me, I was passionate about UN issues after many years to be there in the CSW. Then there it was a point that I said, every year that I came here, I hear exactly the same things. And we cannot see any reaction from UN. In the past, I can tell you that it was open, the participation of the members of many NGOs around the world to attend the CSW. BPW International registered more than 200 members every year. Suddenly, UN said, guess what? We will remodel the building, so it's only 20 during the time that we do the construction. They finish, and we stay with only 20 members per organization that can be accredited at the UN. And guess what? What CSW said, okay, no problem. Then we organize ourselves to have more than 300 parallel events outside the UN. So you can see that UN in some way feels the pressure of the NGOs, but at the same time, they feel the pressure of the governments. So, which is the solution here is that we try to stay together. That is why the vision of YMCA, it was so interesting, because they want to put together business and professional women. And this is the only, our organization is the only one that put together business and professional. There is no other. You can hear many names around the world, but means the real power of the economy in a country and in the world, the business and professional women. And that is why it's so important, our participation.
I would also just in summary, because we are at the end of our session, mention some other milestones that come to my mind, such as beginning based in Europe with US and New Zealand as founding members as well, or New Zealand was one of the early ones anyway. And so mostly Western countries, very Western countries. And then moving into Asia, and then moving into Africa, and then moving into, most recently, the Middle East, and the blossoming of these regions as well. So these certainly were other milestones along the way. I think this began as a fairly Western organization, and now it's step by step morphed into a very universal and multicultural organization. So those, to my mind, are also important milestones.
Yeah.
So,
and countries going back, so we need to, because Lebanon, we had in the past, Lebanon, as we have.
Some are new or renewed, right?
We had China, we had Israel, and so we need to work again on these countries.
So our membership around the world might shift a bit, but we are in all continents now. And
but now we are in all continents, because Africa, it was the latest continent to join BPW International. So now it's,
most of the Middle Eastern clubs are newer than a lot of the African clubs, though, but that's not a continent. So, but that's our newest region, I would say, yes. Okay, any last words from anyone? We want to be mindful of our time and close this in the next 5 minutes, but any last words, Bessie?
No, I just want to congratulate New Zealand for all the work they do. You are a very active federation, and I'm always interested. I haven't been able to go and visit you, but I'm very interested. You're working also with the Global Compact, and I mean, you have a lot of work there, and I encourage you to keep promoting membership in New Zealand so that it grows as it was before. And Hong Kong, I want Olivia to also congratulate you on your job as treasurer. And you look very young. I don't know if you're a young BPW or not, but I encourage you to keep on working on the executive. I understand Hong Kong is a very active club, and Anne has kept me a little informed about it. So I just want to, I'm very glad I have got to meet both of you.
Thank you.
Her face disappeared there for a moment, but yes, actually, Bessie, I'd like to chime in, and I'm glad Hong Kong is participating as well. Hong Kong is a very young club. 70% of the members are 35 and under. So we worked on that perspective for sustainability. So
they have a new member.
Nearly 40. In our 9-member, yes, you're a new member. In our 9-member executive, 7 of them are 35 and under, and the other 2 are around 40. So they're all very young. We're actually delighted by that.
Yeah.
I am glad to see that Olivia is a treasurer, because I always encourage the young members in my region. I was regional coordinator twice in North America and the Caribbean, and I always encourage them, don't just run for young BPW representative because that is based on your age. Run for your qualifications, run for office, and we need the youth, not because you are young, but because of the input that you can bring to the club.
Yep. And that program started in New Zealand. in 1995.
Mhm.
The Young BPW program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was not a young BPW program as it is. It was the theme of the Congress in New Zealand, 1985. It was Youth Today, Leaders Tomorrow, and the International Federation, led by Rosemary Michel from Switzerland. She had this vision that that the organization need young members. So that is why she did this Congress run under this theme. And she invited members from all over the world that with less than 30 years old. And I have the opportunity and the honor to represent Mexico on that conference and change my life, not only as BPW, as a doctor, my personal life, my family life, everything was changed after that Congress. I feel so bad to see that ladies that I saw, like very old ladies, working so hard and working blah 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 and talking and just making plans, and I feel like I was spending my entire life doing nothing. So it was really Yasmin after and before that conference. And then it started like a task force, and then like a committee. And then in 1999, in the Congress in Vancouver, it was passed a motion to become part of the executive, that they have a chair in the executive. So they can be the link in between the executive and the young members. But in some way, it was bad information, and then it was to start young BPW clubs. That it was not the
Right.
meaning,
Which is
because
not.
we need the youngs with the seniors.
Yeah. Yes.
They need us for guide them, and we need
Yes.
the young to teach us new things and new visions. So it was not in that way. So we correct this mistake. And then they asked to increase the age to 40 in a motion that didn't pass, thanks God, because if not, you know, what I was against, even that I was part of the young BPW, because we have no special place as young members. We have to work as the others, exactly. So there is no reason to increase the age. So it's like living in the world, Peter Pan world. You know, this was not a reason.
Well, and we don't want that much separation either.
No.
Just pause you there, Yasmin, because I'm looking at our time, and we are past our time. So we want to be mindful of everybody's schedule.
Yes.
We do have a couple of months from now a session on building and maintaining a young BPW presence in your club.
Mm-hmm.
We have another session coming a little bit later on good governance and all of the aspects of that. We have an idea for a session about maintaining clubs and reviving clubs if they're in a slum. The next month's session is about UN. So a lot of things that we've also touched on today are little previews or commercials, because we have full webinars coming on those also. So I want to thank everybody for your participation, and Bessie especially for your long view of BPW as well, because you and Yasmin have been members for a long time and can give us more of the history even from some of your personal experience. I appreciate that. And thank you.
I would like to let you know that at any time that if you want that we do something special in your club meeting, I will be happy to share with you this presentation or any other presentation that you think that you need mentoring in BP.